Well, good morning and welcome to the show, X's Expresso. We're a little early today. We're about 40 minutes early, but I wanted to jump on here. It's the Friday layover edition of the show because I'm not actually in Fargo. I'm actually in Minneapolis, heading back to Fargo. And well, I was going to be in the air when we did the show. Thought I'd jump on a little early and give you a quick update of what's going on, news and notes. It's really not a lot, really, but want to kind of touch base with you folks and get you guys ready for a big weekend series with the Redhawks and your Sioux City Explorers. Dan Vaughn with you, the voice of the X's. Glad you're along. Brought to you by our friends at Hawks. They're in Sergeant Bluff. As a matter of fact, you know what? I'll do this probably next week on Thursday, but I'm going to give you a little behind the scenes, some photos. And one of them I took was the one I took last night, or actually yesterday afternoon about this time. I was able to take a picture from the air of Sioux City. It was really cool. There was no doubt that was the bend of the rivers, and you could see the town. You could actually make out the ballpark in the distance. It was really cool. But anyway, you will hear behind me once in a while the sound of the people mover going by between terminals. I'm just a couple of gates down. Flight's delayed and was going to get in just in time to do the show there at the hotel, but a little delay here. So I thought, well, let's just jump on real quick. I'll take your questions and comments. We got a few minutes. We got about 40 minutes or so, but I won't go that long. Maybe 15, 10 minutes, not very long. Anyway, hope you guys are doing well. Hope you enjoyed the off day. The team kind of dispersed a little bit. I may have mentioned, well, I didn't mention this in the broadcast. I mentioned this part of the broadcast that my wife was graduating, or not graduating. She was getting her final, there you go. So you got the announcements here at the terminal. I may mention on the broadcast, my wife was getting she's getting her doctorate, and she just finished it yesterday, doing her defense and all that. And there was a family and friends kind of surprise, not a get together. And I didn't say anything about it because I obviously couldn't say anything on the air about it, and kept it real quiet. I kind of even had to sort of promote the show as if we're going to do it today, and we are. I just didn't know what time, but she had no idea and made it there and back. And so it was an early morning getting back here to this part of the country, but I just wanted to be with her. She was there for my 900th game that I called the association a couple weeks ago. Totally surprised me with my mom and my brother. So I kind of owed her the same thing. So I surprised her, and she was pretty cool, pretty excited about it. We also had a friend of ours from Little Rock come in, and another friend locally that she hadn't seen in a while. So it was really cool. I might have to play that video for you guys next Thursday with kind of a wrap-up edition. But, yeah, appreciate you. And she's one of the only ones watching right now. But everybody else thinks we're doing it at lunch probably. But there we go. Somehow I get bumped off there. Didn't I? I don't know. Oops, sorry. I think I got bumped off. Did I get bumped off? What's up here, make sure my audio is still going. But I will take your questions and comments. Not a lot to talk about, really. A lot we'll catch up on tonight on the broadcast with Steve Montgomery, as we will chat with him for the ball game. X has dropped 2 of 3. They're in Lake Country, Oconomowoc. I'll make sure I was in the right spot. There we go. I think I froze up. No, there we go. There we go. There we go. Apparently I'm still there. I've got this screen up because if I do a wide shot, I got poor people behind me like unsuspecting passengers in the show. So we'll just do it like this. But questions and comments about the team came close on Wednesday night. By the way, it was not in the box score. I didn't mention the post game because I didn't know at the time until right off the air. I mentioned in the game that A, the conditions, and B, I referenced the lights on Monday night. I didn't matter on Tuesday. And the lights, I thought it was just me because I was in the press box in a bad view, couldn't see right field anyway. So I was already kind of partially, and they had a light on in the press box. So there was a bit of a glare in the window in front of me. I couldn't even see to my right, so I couldn't even tell you for sure. But I thought, and I mentioned the reference to lights on Monday night. I thought it was just me Wednesday night, and I didn't want to. I've been wanting to bellyache there before. Okay, I made a lot of noise there last year with Kansas City about the view and having to be outside in the rain and all that. And so I kind of want to tap the brakes and be a little more a little more considerate because, granted, it did mess up some of my gear last year in the rain, and no one helped me and all that. But I was just thankful we had a view inside. Well, anyway, the lighting was a little odd. They've got those new lights there. You've seen them at some of the newer ballparks. St. Paul had them at CHS Field. The Milwaukee's got them. And those lights that, for example, in Sioux City, they shine out and they kind of stack them in an angle like this. But these lights shine down like this, okay? So they're like that. I don't know why it froze up again. Freezing up due to Wi-Fi, it tells me. Anyway, sorry about that, guys. Let me see if this is not what I want to do. I didn't want to have anyway, it wasn't the box score, but the game was played in a protest. The lighting, again, from where I was sitting, it was hard to tell because, quite frankly, I couldn't see right field. I mean, you're broadcasting a game, you can't see right field. I mean, there was no way I could see. I couldn't, I had to put my hands out on my weight and look out the window and hope the whole thing didn't collapse like a house of cards, looking out the window. And that's just if I can just get a sort of a view. It's not an ideal view. So I was just thinking it was just me, the way I was sitting, because I was back from the window. But upon further review and watching the video, I got to tell you, those lights didn't look like they were working 100%. Now, I don't know if they were, if they were down a standard, because I obviously couldn't see right, but the game was played under protest because of that. I thought you guys should know that. I don't know if that really makes much, that's not going to probably move the needle. Those protests very rarely ever work out. But again, it's the newer lights. Kansas City's got two of those standards. I mentioned that. We were there last time. Again, Milwaukee's got them. But most of the traditional baseball lights are like this, and they're angled, as they go up. The taller lights, like the top row, will angle down, but you've got them pushed out, and they've got them angled a different candle. It's a candle deal with angles, and they'll bring a grid out. Major League Baseball does this. They'll bring a grid out, and they'll put this grid out in the field, and they're able to aim the lights almost computer-wise how the lights should be in each part of the ballpark. Well, again, those are those newer lights, and you don't even see them shining out. You see them shining down. And in part for the view, and Rick said he said he noticed for the bus too. I again thought it was my view because of the rain, the clouds, the conditions, but apparently. Anyway, so I'll just give that to you as well. Other than that, team did drop it by a one-run ball game, a close one. It goes to show you just this team has got some ability, and it goes to show you how the margin of error can be really close sometimes. You walked, what was it, 7-11, I believe it was. That's the most you've walked since a game back in May against Cleveland. This team's walking a few now, and we're going to try to get some answers for that tonight. I'm going to ask Mongo about that just to get an idea of what the team's walking. If granted, it's not your starters, but you had some issues in the bullpen, and you had a spot start too that gave up 7 walks. That's a lot in 2 innings. I mean, you're only facing 6 batters. That's tough, but you fell behind. But what I love about this team, they fell behind and battled back. And I was even going to the box score this morning. Miguel Sierra was 0 for 3 with runners aboard, but then he delivers in the 9th inning. Huge hit. I mean, this team does not go away quietly into the night. And it was a 1-run loss. And raised the white flag on Wednesday night. So, the lights are crappy. The weather's crappy. The mound's terrible. The field's terrible. It was a sponge. We had no business playing that game on Wednesday night. I mean, I don't know why we played that game. I don't know why. I mean, I know why we had to play it because of the fact we won't play them again, but field turf's great if the sun's out and if you dry it. But they didn't even dry the mound until after they were asked to dry the mound. So anyway, it was an unfortunate situation, but you didn't lose the series because of the weather. You lost the series because you gave up a 5 spot in the 6th inning on Tuesday when you were up 6-3. You lost the series because you walked a bunch on Wednesday. But again, those were the situations. And again, I love the fact this club doesn't get too ticked off. They didn't hang their heads. They battled. And again, Jake Sanford hit the ball in the screws. And I love the aggressive approach right there in that ninth inning. And that ball, 3 or 4 feet in the direction, is probably off the wall, and you're probably up, and you probably win the game. And this team battles, and they battle. And I love what you're seeing from Matt Lloyd. You're watching a very special player in that number one spot. By the way, this afternoon I'll have some news in the pregame. You're going to see something in a little while. I can't tell you now because I contractually can't tell you for 30 more minutes. But you're going to see an announcement coming up this afternoon on social media that Austin will be putting up for us, and I'll be posting as well when I get in an announcement, a good announcement that's pertaining to the All-Star game. I'll just tell you that. I'll tease it right there. But it's something we've talked about a little bit. Austin will have all the details tonight on the pregame show, which begins at 6:35 from there in Fargo at Newman Outdoor Stadium. First pitch at 7:02. So that'll be tonight. And I guess I should probably put the graphic up, right? I mean, kind of just forgot it. So you guys know what show it is. There we go. And the broadcast reminder tonight. And by the way, I'll take your questions here. I got a little time here, and I will do that. Guess we'll be on A Baseball TV tonight, and then we will be on. And by the way, next week, is it next week? I'll update this tonight, but I'll be giving you this. We were finally going to be one of those games in Australia. Finally. I'm sorry, it's 2 weeks. When Kansas City comes to town, we're going to be the game in Australia. So I'll have the Australian voice doing the game in Australia. You're welcome. A little self-promotion there for me. Hey, you know what? DV may be DV, but DV also I'm sort of well-liked overseas, and it's a good thing. You guys should be happy that I'm liked overseas. It's going to be a thing. They put bus drivers in the All-Star game. They should. What I'd like to see is an All-Star bus driver bunt competition. There's a bunt competition in the Frontier League. You guys see this? The Frontier League had a bunt derby. Let me move a little bit to my left here. They had a bunt derby. The Frontier League did. Wouldn't you love to see a bunt derby with the bus drivers? Or better yet, what's a bus driver duty? Should they like doing bus driver obstacle course like the police do with their motorcycles? Maybe we do a weave, or do we do a drag race? We put the Kansas City bus driver versus the Sioux City bus driver in a one-on-one, mano-a-mano drag race. You got to be the bus. You got to be behind the bus, right? Get that bus going and spin those tires. Or do we do like a Cannonball Run? Remember the movie Cannonball Run? Remember that? We could do that. We could do a Cannonball Run. By the way, I can't see Jay's the broadcast, and I'm just putting that up to remind you folks where we're at. Oh, sorry. Got my graphics all messed up here. There we're back. Here we go. There we go. So do we do it like that? Do we do like a Cannonball Run or maybe it's Smokey the Bandit? Remember the Smokey the Bandit? Remember the storyline with Smokey the Bandit was trying to get beer that they couldn't get in Georgia back to Georgia because you could get Coors in Texas. So Smokey the Bandit are smuggling beer, bootlegging across the South. So maybe it's one of those deals where you got to smuggle a team. I don't know. Maybe it's across the border. First team to Winnipeg and back. I don't know. Maybe the race is from Cleveland to Winnipeg and back, and it's all buses. We could do this like I don't know. We could do it during the All-Star break, or better yet, okay, during the All-Star break, Rick, here's one for you. We do this during the All-Star break. We do one of those deals. We do a race, Cannonball Run style. Let's say it's from Milwaukee to out of League City. Let's go Milwaukee to Fargo and back. And it's a race. And so the team buses all race. And, I don't know. Throw it out there. So, yes. No, they don't put bus drivers, but they should. So, anyway. All right. Give me questions. I've got them for you. We got a few more minutes here. Early edition on Expresso, brought to you by, partnered with our friends from Hawks there in Sergeant Bluff, what a beautiful, it was so cool to fly over Sioux City and see the city. It was so cool. And I could clearly make out at 28,000 feet, the Missouri River, the Sioux. I can see you can make out the highways and byways. I mean, it was pretty cool. And because the angle from Fargo to Dallas was sort of and so you took off, you went, I saw Sioux Falls right below me, but as we're angling, had a great view of the left side of the plane to see Sioux City. So anyway, Rick says he's in on that whole bus driver race. Okay. He's in. I think it'd be great. What's a Cannonball Run? Cannonball Run was from what, California to New York or vice versa? And that was an all-star cast. If you remember the movie Cannonball Run, I'm dating myself here, but every 70 star was in Cannonball Run, 70s, early 80s. I mean, we're talking every single well-known actor and actress was in that in some form or fashion back in the day. So, all right, last call for questions here. Again, 7:02 is the first pitch from Fargo. 6:35. Actually, the stop set is at 6:36. Austin and I will join you. Again, we'll have some news tonight on the All-Star game. It's nothing earth-shattering. Well, it is earth-shattering. It's good. It's not nothing terrible. It's actually a good thing that does pertain to the X's, but I can't say anything for another 35 minutes. So, unfortunately, I'm kind of I want to say it. I've given you enough, though. And I think Austin's mentioned this a little bit already. We talked about this on the broadcast Wednesday night a little bit at our back and forth. So that'll be coming up tonight. Pitching matchup, the rotation's been shifted a little for the series. It'll be Trenton Topakar going tonight. And then it was going to be Austin Drury, but Austin's been flip-flopped. He'll go Sunday. Solomon Bates goes on Saturday. And the reason I talked to Steve Montgomery a while ago, he said that Drury threw on short rest and threw quite a few pitches, so gave an extra day. Plus, Solomon's going to have that extra day for the All-Star game on Tuesday because he'll be pitching, at some point, I would think, in the All-Star game in Milwaukee. So there's that. Tonight, for them, it is – where was my game notes? Working on those at the moment. Tonight, it's right-hander. Sorry. Jake Dykoff, 3-3 and a 5.15. Tomorrow, Solomon's facing Tyler Grauer. Should be a pretty good matchup. Lefty is at 4-1 and a 3.95. Then Sunday, Drury, the lefty, against righty Garrett Alexander, 0-3 and a 6.17 for the Red Hawks. So there you go. Okay, go see our friends at Sergeant Bluff there. Get that X's Expresso and tell them that DB sent you. Or, tell them Solomon sent you. They'll donate $1 to our friends there at the American Legion, Post 662 there in Sergeant Bluff. We'll be back there next week. I believe I'll be there on Friday. Thursday is going to be a travel day, so it'll be a normal show at the ballpark. But Friday will be at week from today. We'll be at Hawks Coffee there in Sergeant Bluff. So there you go. All righty. Surprised my wife, but down to Dallas and back, and now back to Fargo. Team will be hitting the ballpark this afternoon again, and we'll be on the air on A Baseball TV and, of course, on KSCJ there in Sioux City. So broadcast time tonight, and digging up some things for the broadcast. It should be fun, and we'll talk to Steve Montgomery on the pregame show and get rolling right along at 6:36. Big series, Red Hawks in front of you in the standings, but you're only a half game behind them, and you're right there in the mix. Lincoln's got a big series in Milwaukee this week. They've not faced Milwaukee a little bit. And Sioux Falls is playing better. It's a kind of interesting time here in July, going to the All-Star break, but this will be a huge series to win and go in the All-Star break with a little momentum, and especially you take 2 or 3, you can take over second place in the division. So there's that in the mix as well. All right. Thanks for stopping by today. I got a flight in about 20 minutes. I'll see you guys at the broadcast tonight. You guys ready for some 1, 2, 3 go X's? I'm ready. You're ready. Here we go. Nope, didn't lose my cell phone. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Go X's. I'll see you in the broadcast tonight, everybody. Caution, you are reaching the end.